All right, well, we are in the Beartooths for the 25th Fall Campout. We're here at the Box Canyon Trailhead. Pretty loose plan as far as where we'll be staying, but so we're just trying to get in a few miles tonight, start the celebration of the Fall Campout, and kind of acclimate to this elevation a little bit. It's gonna be great. It's official. Like Bunk pointed out, we rarely go to the same range in 2 straight fall campouts, but we are this year. So we're back into Beartooths. It's unprecedented. The Fall Campout is the highlight of the season. Family members come from all over the West and converge at whatever trailhead we're starting from that year. This year, we were back in the Beartooths of Montana and on the East Fork of the Boulder River. We were going in for 7 days and had many lakes and mountain passes ahead of us.
Pretty. Kind of looks like this was all taken out by an avalanche.
Well, we're in 3.5 miles or so. We're wanting to set up short. I'm trying to make it to this footbridge, and we might camp around here somewhere. Beautiful. Beautiful area. Just loving this walk. I think I'm coming up on the bridge.
Oh, Matt's kind of walking over this way.
We got in a few miles and camped near the bridge. Now it was time to get set up and let the celebration begin.
Thanks, boss.
first night meal, steak. Oh, yum.
Me.
Ooh, ramen. And what else? Ramen.
Don't know what flavor. Don't care.
Actually, looks like we know what we're doing.
Looks can be deceiving.
There's some action. Monster.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It'll get lighter as it goes on.
When I had scouted this route on the map, I put us getting to Lake Kathleen on the first day. Stopping short of the lake the night before put us a couple miles behind. Miles that we would have to make up today. We'd continue following the east fork of the Boulder River, then around Lake Kathleen we'd turn east and follow Rainbow Creek, climbing up to the junction with the Columbine Lake Trail. From there, we'd leave Rainbow Creek and make the long climb up to Columbine Lake. Well, good morning. Morning day 2. Just pulling out. We've already been passed by a pack train this morning. So I think the goal is to get to Lake Columbine. I'm totally guessing, but we might have 7-8 miles to get there. Bit of hiking today.
Matt, you want to try it just a little bit and tell me if it's poisonous?
The outfitter's pack train that passed us that morning was heading in the same direction that we were. From the tracks, it was easy to tell that they had taken the same turns as us.
Oh.
And I was starting to wonder if we'd be seeing them again.
Oh, I can sit right there. I can definitely tell that we're at elevation because even on level ground, I can't seem to catch my breath. It's really pretty though.
Well, we're almost 7 miles in for the day. Closing in on Columbine Lake. Got some ups and downs left. It's getting late in the day. It's about 5:15. Safe to say this hill's kicking everybody's ass. Let's get up there. The hike in was tough, and it beat us up a little bit. We lifted our spirits that night with a new dinner for us. Mini pizzas. Pretty damn good. Same range next year. That's a first. You never know. We could be through here. There's more trails.
He's from the other camp. He ain't with us.
Oh, all the folk, thank you.
Guy's bomb though.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
On the way into the lake the night before, I had run into the outfitters who had brought the guys in that morning. They told me that they had taken those guys over the pass and down to the lakes on the other side. That was where we were planning on going. And I was just hoping we could avoid them.
Big money, big money.
Wow.
Damn.
Today we were heading up Columbine Pass right away. Once we cleared the pass, we dropped down to the lakes on the other side. We didn't know which lake we'd camp at, but we were just trying to avoid the outfitters' camp. Good morning. Morning day 3. We're on the move. Today we're headed for Columbine Pass and then the next group of lakes. I don't know which one we'll pick. Should be an easier day today than yesterday. We took a break on the top of the pass and happened to run into one of the guys from the outfitters camp. He let us know where they were camped, so now we knew which spot to avoid. Well, so he said they're camped to the right, so I guess we'll stay left. Yeah, Max.
Looking for a campsite.
We hiked out on the far side of Pentad Lake and found a camp with a great view. We were tired from the last few days of hiking. We planned on taking a zero the next day. Of course, if we were taking a zero, that meant we would need a proper place to play the games of the Mountain Olympics.
Wow. Rolling rock.
We settled in that night, knowing that we didn't have to hike out of here in the morning. It was time to start soaking it in. We carried on as we usually do on these kind of nights, and Brandon was able to pull a couple fish out of the lake. So that meant trout cakes for dinner. It was a slow start to our morning. We were seeing weather right away, and the rain came and went. As we were milling around camp, I thought I could hear a helicopter. It was hard to tell where it was at first, but then it was obvious it was getting closer.
I think there's a rescue taking place here.
Sure does. He gets getting lower with every pass. The chopper was circling over the other lake, and that is where the outfitters' camp was.
I think you're definitely right. He's looking for somewhere to land. He's landing.
The chopper landed, and it sounded like they shut it down. We stood around outside of our camp, waiting for it to take off again, and while we waited, dogs were feeling frisky.
Oh shit. Incoming.
Bend the knees.
That felt good. You opened it up. You really opened it up.
Oh God, we're gonna get wet.
With all of the excitement over, it was back to business. When it rained on us, we just took the games under a tarp. And when it cleared up for a bit, we took advantage of it. Val used the break in the weather to go on a side quest.
You came, let's go to that waterfall. I'm following the dry creek, that's my trail. I can hear that waterfall and try to get to it. Whew, it's getting wet now, so. I'm too much invested. I'm up pretty high, so I think I'm gonna get onto that ridge right there. The smaller one to the left. That one right there. I'm gonna go there. So we're camped like right on the other side of that hill right there. Okay, now I just have to cross the creek here, or the runoff. I'm pretty high. Actually, there's Trav. Okay, so I was gonna go up to that ridge, but those are some scary clouds coming. So I think I'm gonna head down. It's not too bad from this ridge line. It was a little bit harder along the drainage.
The next storm came on a little stronger and brought some thunder with it. But it passed like they all do. Then it was time to see if we would be having fish for dinner. Well, good morning from Pentad Lake. It's the morning of day 5. Moving on today. Had a great zero yesterday. Saw some weather. But today we're moving over Jordan Pass and should end up at Wounded Man Lake or maybe Lake Pinchot. Really loving this area. This route is pretty great. From Pentad Lake, we'd start dropping down towards Jordan Lake. Once we got to Jordan Lake, the easy part of the hike was over, and we'd start the climb up to Jordan Pass. We'd drop down the other side of the pass and have a few more hills we would have to traverse before arriving at Wounded Man Lake. It can be deceiving how tough those little hills can be. All right, we're just leaving Pentad Lake, headed for maybe Wounded Man Lake, but we're all definitely a little bit lighter than we were coming in here.
This is gorgeous.
We took a little break at the lake and got ready for the climb up to Jordan Pass. The rest of the hike was going to be challenging. Almost to Jordan Pass. The hills that we had to climb were proving to be a lot harder than it looked on the map, and the miles were starting to stack up. We were running on empty when we got our first view of Wounded Man Lake. We found a decent campsite on the far side of the lake and pulled into camp, a little wounded ourselves.
Come here, bud.
It was the coldest morning of the trip so far. Staying close to the fire and waiting for the sun to hit us made us linger a little longer than we might have otherwise. From Wounded Man Lake, we'd climb up a little pass before dropping down towards Fish Lake. From there, we would follow Rainbow Creek to the junction of the Columbine Lake Trail that we took back on day 2. I'd wanted to camp at Lake Kathleen that night, but Brandy was sure there was no fish in that lake. If there were no fish, well then there were no trout cakes. Everyone agreed that we should push past Lake Kathleen and go back down to the bridge where we camped on the first night. It was going to make for a long day, and we all just hoped there were trout cakes waiting at the end of it.
That's pretty cool. And look at these. But just to show the size of this thing, it's huge.
We were all still pretty tired from our long hike the day before, and we had another one right in front of us. There was a bit less enthusiasm in the group as we got ready to start walking.
There's some missed fishing opportunities here for sure.
Were you too tired to fish?
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, good morning. It is morning day 6 from Wounded Man Lake. Today we're gotta go up this little pass and then start dropping back down into Rainbow Creek. It could be another long day, probably could be 9 miles again. Should be a lot easier 9 miles though, we're hoping. Beautiful day. Let's get going. Made it to this no-name path. Last pass we'll climb on this trip. Won't say it's all downhill, but mostly downhill.
We had crested the pass. There were still many miles ahead of us. Since we wouldn't have to stop and rest as much as we did on the climbs, we hoped that we could knock out some miles.
All right, made it back to the junction. This is where we took off from a few days ago. Still got a few miles down to where we want to camp tonight. Well, we've passed Lake Kathleen and we're just on the final 2 miles into camp. It's gonna be, I don't know, 11, 12 miles by the end of the day. Even downhill, that's a ways.
Eventually, we were walking over the bridge and into the campsite. We were tired. We had set ourselves up with a shorter hike out the next day. We got everything set up, and Brandon went down to the river and made good on his promise. Trout cakes were on the menu.
Well, coming down to it, last evening of the trip. It's been a hell of an adventure. I have really loved this route. I really dig the area. The trails are fantastic. Kind of getting sentimental, I guess. I hate when these end. I will go back and celebrate like it is the the last night of the trip. Have a good send-off. God, should have an easy out in the morning. Well, good morning. Morning, day 7. Going home day. This has been a great adventure. Fantastic route. I'm ready to get back because my back is hurting, but at the same time, I'm not ready to leave the woods. I'm gonna have 3-4 miles out. Hopefully it won't take us too long to get out of here because I'm ready for a burger. And there's beer in the car. More hike out.
It's always bittersweet on the hike out. Today, we were just retracing the few miles that we did on the first day to complete the route back to the trailhead. It was a tougher route than I thought it would be from the stats on the map. Sometimes, the data doesn't tell the whole story. Sometimes, you have to go see it for yourself.
Saying goodbye to the wilderness. Be back at the car here in a second.